Hello, my name is Professor John Benjamin, and this is Game Design at West Virginia Wesleyan College. Last time we talked about collisions and how to create an enemy that will cause damage to an actor. And now we're going to change the properties of our projectile and create blueprint properties for enemies that will be destroyed if we shoot them. All right, cool. So we're still in the first person level. Again, I would just start off. You can start off on a new one if you like, but I'm just starting off on the last one that we used. The first thing that we'll want to do here is locate our projectile because we're going to change some of its properties. All right, so to do that, you can simply go down to your content browser and just type in projectile. So we have the static mesh, and then we have the material that goes over the mesh, and then the projectile blueprints, which have a little blue line there. So let's go ahead and open up the blueprints. All right, and you can see here we've got some blueprints already set up for the projectile. And what we want to do is remove these center blueprints right here. So I'm going to go ahead and I can delete this outer part, which is just a frame, kind of grouping them. And I'm going to go ahead and lasso select the center ones, like so. And so I'm just left with the event hit and the destroy actor. Of course, I'm going to connect those two. The next thing I want to do is change the gravity. So I'm going to go to the viewport and select the projectile. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to the component panel. I'm going to select the projectile here. And then I'm going to type in gravity. And it says projectile gravity scale. And we're going to set that to 0. And then I'm going to type in bounce here. And should bounce, I'm going to uncheck that. Like so. All right, so now the projectile will shoot straight and it will not bounce. All right, now I'm going to select the projectile, close out bounce, and we could go ahead and change the material. So doesn't look like a ball. Let's change it to something that looks a little more like a photon. Let's just type it in chrome. There we have it, metal chrome. All right, and we can zoom in here and take a look. All right, that looks pretty good. And let's get a little sort of light source to it. So why don't we add a component, and I'm going to just type in light, and I think I'm just going to add a point light. I'm just going to kind of put it like right above there, like so. Okay, great. All right, let's give that a test. Compile and save. All right, and play. There we go, no gravity. And it's kind of lit up like a photon. All right, it goes right through things. All right, excellent. So that's how we can control some of the properties of our projectile. Again, you just have to locate whatever it is that you want to change the properties for. Okay, so let's add a few more properties to our projectile. So we can find it. Mine's still down here because I've got projectile typed in there, but if you don't, you just type in PROJ, or PRO does it, and then there is our projectile. I'm going to open that up. Okay, so let's add a few more parameters. We want to, for it to cause damage when it hits specified actors. All right, so the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to add an event begin play node. All right, so let's just say begin play. And there's our event begin play node. And what we want to do is we want to create a delay so that the projectile doesn't kind of go on forever and waste processing power. So we're only going to set it to, so we see it for, well, 5 seconds seems like a lot. Let's try it for 5 seconds. All right, and then we want that to destroy the actor. Okay, and up here we want this destroy actor to apply damage. So we're going to drag a pin out from the execution and say apply damage, like so. And again, other, so really any collision to the whole mesh is fine. So we're going to start with other and drag that out to damaged. Base damage, let's set it to be 5. So every time you hit it, it causes 5 damage. All right, so this is the blueprint class for the projectile itself, but we need to set up some blueprints for the actors that are going to get hit. So we tell them when they get hit by the projectile that they'll be destroyed. Okay, so let's go ahead and just hit compile and save and close this out. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag an actor. I'm just going to drag a cube onto the stage here. Okay. We're going to go ahead and add a blueprint. And go ahead and put it in your content folder. My content folder. All right, here's our cube. Oh, and we should really give it a name. So let's close this out for just a moment. And cube blueprint, let's put destructible enemy. There we are. Okay, now let's go to the blueprints. All right, and if you ever see this when you open up blueprints, just go ahead and click on here, say open full blueprints. Okay, so we can have the graph editor. What we're going to do for these enemy actors is the same thing that we did to our character in the last session, where we added blueprints that said how much health until the actor is destroyed. Okay, so we're pretty much going to set the same up. We're going to start off with event any damage, and then we're going to need to create a health variable. So we go down to our variables, call this health, and we're going to change it from Boolean to a float. Oops. All right, and we're going to go ahead and drag out a set health, and let's set the health to 15. What we're going to do though is, rather than set the health here, we're going to set the default value. So to do that with any variable, we're just going to go ahead and hit compile, and then you'll see we'll get a default value. This value will just enter over here into our details panel, and we're just going to change that to 15. So if we are hitting it with 5 damage, we have to hit it 3 times for it to die. That's essentially what we're going to do there. And let's get a get health. All right, so we set the get health, and we're going to do a float minus float, just like last time. We're going to say subtract 5, and so there's the health, and it will apply 5 damage. And so now we're going to have to do a less than equals again, float, less than equal to, float. So when it's less than equal to 0, it will be destroyed. Let's go ahead and connect the health to there. And then we're going to go ahead and create a destroy actor. And we're going to need a branch, just like last time. So let's go ahead and type in branch. All right, so what'll happen is if this condition is true, it will destroy the actor. And one of the differences you can see here is we're not going to print string as false, because we don't really need to know. In this case, we could, but we're not going to set it to print when our enemy's health is decreased. Of course, we could do that just the way we did before, but I think in this case, we're not going to do that. And the last thing I need to make sure is that this set is connecting to the branch. All right, so we have a full set of execution. So we have event any damage to the set health, which connects to the branch, which connects to the destroy actor. All right, and that should do it. We'll compile and save. I'm just going to minimize this like so. Bring it down here. Let's go ahead and make it look a little different too, pardon me. All right, let's do that. So let's select in the viewport, let's select our graph, and let's change the basic material to something a little different. All right, so something that looks like an enemy. How about grass creatures? Okay. All right, so these grass creatures are going to attack us. All right, that looks better. All right, so go ahead and hit compile and save. And actually, I'm going to close this out. And then I want to create a few of these. So let's go ahead and grab this cube blueprint, and let's put a few of them around. And we can make some bigger if we want. All right, and then hit play. All right, so we're going to go ahead and shoot our photon. And it took 4 times. So I guess the first one didn't count with that. So we got 5, 2, 3, 4 times. I'll have to redo that math. I thought it would be dead in 3 shots, but it's 4 shots. All right, cool. And that's how you can destroy an enemy. So thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.